We are live. Yeah. So, hello everyone. This is Tarun Malhotra. I am a lead software engineer at InterviewBit, and with that, I'm also a lead instructor at the Scaler Academy. I welcome you all who have joined the session. And today we have with us Mohini Bansal. Welcome, Mohini. So, Mohini has been a student at Scaler Academy. I have interacted with her a lot of times over the last 6 months. I have also taught her, and I remember her being one of the most active students in the class. So yeah, welcome, Mohini, and thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Mohini, yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mohini. So Mohini, we wanted to discuss about your journey. How was your journey at Scalar Academy, and how did you actually manage at a position? How you managed to reach a position where you are today? And can you just briefly introduce, first of all, about yourself? So Mohini, over to you.
Okay, so yeah, this side Mohini Bansal, and currently I'm working in Walmart as SD3 position, and I did my graduation from Banastali University, Rajasthan in 2016, and I belong from Haryana. And say was Scaler. Thanks to Scaler Academy, first of all, giving me opportunity that I can come live and share my experience. Thank you so much. And the thing about Scaler, so see, last year it just came up. Like I was looking for something, and that time Scaler comes to in my way. Okay, and I think for I guess not so much. I guess once or twice. What should I do? And I discussed with my brother that what should I do? Should I join or what should I do? This is all the process. He's like, join it. I said okay. Then that's how I like got into the Scaler. But before that, there was one interesting thing about Scaler, and that I made my mindset. I got interview call for TA. So I said okay. There was two options. Either I will join as a TA. If I join TA, then okay. Otherwise, if I will get rejection mail, then I will join academy. Unfortunately, I got rejection mail that I am not selected for TA.
Would
So
you still, Mohini, would you still call it unfortunately? Would you still call it
no,
unfortunately?
Now I'm very happy. Maybe being on a scale, being in a TA, maybe I was not able to go to the Walmart. That is the one thing.
So
But that
that
was like, yeah.
that's a very interesting story that you just told us. So you sort of gamed the system, tried to apply as a TA, and then figure out whether you belong as a student or not. That's
Yeah,
good.
so
Uh,
then I said, okay, let me join now. Okay, then I joined. Obviously, for me, because that time I was in new job also, and the scalar like daily like classes you have alternate days also, and you have to prepare. If you have
right,
to do something, you have to be dedicated. You can't be like you are not doing for 7 days, then you are again doing. You can't. And one thing, if you skip one day question, then you can't complete in another 10 days also. So you
right,
can't
right.
skip any questions actually.
Right. Makes sense. Makes
So
sense. So first of all, so let's start from where you are today, right now. So you have been placed at Walmart. You have joined Walmart over the last 2 months ago as a SD3 at a software engineer 3 position. So first of all, can you tell us about how do you feel where you are currently, and tell us a bit about your present role?
So basically, it is always is awesome feeling that you are in some good company. You just imagine that you can be, and I have imagined only that I can be, but now I am. So I am very much happy with my role where I am currently. And obviously, Walmart is a big brand for me, and I'm very
Yeah.
much happy with everything, whatever I am getting. And initially, trust me, when somebody asked me like SD3 role, I was like, okay. I was little surprised to see, okay. So I said, will I be able to clear it? But when I gave the interview, and it was 1 day process, only 1 day process, and I was able to clear all the round in a day only. So
Okay.
it is a very awesome feeling. And there I work in SD3 role mainly like my work related to Java. There are whole
Okay.
stack, and I work in the supply chain org of the Walmart where
Okay.
I related with the fulfillment like grocery management basically. That Walmart
Okay.
has a huge in the US and Mexico that I work there in that field,
Okay.
and that is going pretty good. And I had
Okay.
training, and because I joined in lockdown, okay,
Huh.
6th April was my joining, so I was little afraid also how it is going to be. But trust me, I work without laptop for 5 days also, only over the mobile. then I got my laptop and everything is chill, like very process, very smooth, and I was able to do everything very finely. And I done my training. Now I'm working there, so it is pretty good. And even the environment of the team, everything being locked down, everything is very good. So it's great.
That's great. Very, very, very heartening to hear all that, Mohini. And frankly, matlab, I can tell you from my perspective, the feeling that you have when you see somebody that you have taught or somebody that you have interacted with over the last several months and them making such a mark in their careers, the kind of feeling or the kind of satisfaction I got out of it or we get out of it is very difficult to explain in plain words. So I really feel happy about you. It feels as if I got a new job. And I just can't congratulate you enough. And I know that yes, you have put in a lot of hard work over the last several months, and that is why you are where you are currently.
Yeah.
Okay, Mohini. Yeah, so let's discuss about a bit more about where you were before joining the academy and where you find yourself after you have gone through the entire course at the academy, and what kind of a delta that you see in your career. And this is not a one-time thing, right, Mohini? So you have joined Walmart today, but your career is always going to now grow up. So can we try to talk a bit about the delta that we have tried to create, or we all of us together managed to create in your career? Mohini?
Okay, so last year I had lot of rejection. Okay, so I guess you say company name and I got rejected. Okay, and out of them, Amazon is the one company which I got rejected 3 times. So still, I am fine with it. So I have a lot of rejection before joining Scaler actually, and but obviously, like there was a lot of loopholes. Like you are doing coding, but you don't know how to do it. What is the dynamic programming? And actually, what is greedy? What we call as greedy, I don't know anything. But I was able to solve, but I don't know what I am doing,
Right.
right? And you can't solve a lot of problem being just randomly. You should know some technique, some loophole you have that you have to fill. That's why I have joined Scalar to fill all my data, like where I am doing wrong. And after that, I guess with lot of dedication, with a good instructor, and yeah, and I'm very glad that Tarun is taking my webinar. He's my favorite instructor, and like you have seen, like in college, you being bored in the 1 hour lecture, but in Tarun lecture you can't be bored, and it is awesome. And that's that's how, like when you find something interesting, you are able to fill all of your data. And after Scalar joining, and I have gave like I joined in September. Okay, after 1 month, again I gave interview because I never leave giving the interview. I gave in Microsoft and Google.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Microsoft, only one round was pending. I was not able to clear it. Obviously, there was something loophole. I was not. I don't know what is system design, so I got rejected. And
Okay.
then Google, there was high level of coding actually. It is not that because that was going for so long. So I said, okay, let me go and give the interview. But I was not prepared that time, and
So
I
after
gave my
joining the academy, just 1 month after joining the academy,
just 1 month
you
later. I went.
interviewed at Microsoft, you interviewed at Google as well. And
Yeah,
then you realized that, okay, in Microsoft, you realized that maybe system design is the missing chunk at this point in time. And of course, we
yeah,
did not cover system design at till that point in time. And
yeah,
you also did interviews at Google. Unfortunately, we were not able to crack those. But you now, after these 6 months, I hope that you are a bit more confident about maybe giving those interviews now, and
yeah.
yeah, the kind of performance that you will be able to give now as compared to just 1 month after joining the academy, right?
Yeah, actually, because Google asked me graph. I don't know what is graph because graph in teaching in the like this year, and I have given in the November first week or October
Right.
last week. So
Right.
nothing was taught that time. Like array and basic thing was going on, and I given for the high levels. Obviously, I will get rejected. So it was fine for me because for me, giving interview is just an experience. If you are selecting, that is your luck. If not, then you can go ahead and prepare it. So that is
Yeah.
the thing. And then after that, this year I gave in the Myntra and I clear it. Okay. Then I
Yeah.
gave in Walmart, I clear it. So
Correct.
and after
So
the lockdown,
so let's now break it down for our audience. Let's now discuss that you joined the course in September, right? Or October.
yeah,
You joined in September. You joined in September.
September end,
Then,
yeah, September end,
yeah, September end. So let's call it October beginning. So you just
yeah,
joined at the very fag end of September.
yeah,
Then, so we started in the Scalar Academy. We tend to cover things starting from the very basics. Would you agree
Yeah.
on that? So
Yeah,
for the
sure.
first 1 month or so, we just tend to the basics. We try to make sure that everybody is brought to speed. So let's try to talk about that 6 month journey that you have had with us, and let's just talk a bit about every month. Let's say what we were doing at that month and how you felt as if those things helped you in your not only in specific interviews, but let's say in your larger career and the things that you would want to achieve, and how did that make you as a better engineer. So let's just talk it a bit by bit. So we started, let's say, in October. For the first month or two, we would be discussing about very simple data structures, and yeah,
Yeah.
so we'd be talking about stacks and queues. Yeah. So did that help you, Mohini? Would you say
Yeah.
that helped you?
So yeah, Myntra was more focused. When I gave Myntra interview, there was tech questions and there was like a very basic question was there. But whatever I have learned, that question was present in the Myntra, and I was able to do it. And it was like, okay, let me give it. We will see later. And whatever they asked me, I have already have the clarity. And they were actually the problem which I have solved in the Myntra interview, which I have solved as part of my like academy. So that question
Okay.
was present in my interview. So obviously
Okay.
I have solved it. I know the technique, so I can
Right.
better be the explanation. And we
Right.
know, like when you know something, how to represent yourself in the interview also, like
Right.
how to represent yourself, and that also we have taught me. Like if you know something, then how to represent,
Makes
and
sense.
you
And
can.
that is indeed very important. That is the last step, and you can call it a very, very important step from knowing something and then also being able to talk about it or deliver it. And yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense. So we started with the basic DS algo. Then we would have moved on to, let's say, that trees. We have discussed dynamic programming. Then we would have discussed things like graphs. And
yeah.
what did we do after we completed all the DS algo? We directly moved to LLD, or we discussed
No,
some science fundamentals as well.
obviously there was like a operating system database, like how we can solve it, everything, because it is required everything, because you don't know in interview come with what question, what is his mindset. He can ask
Right.
you anything. If it is your day, then you are safe. Otherwise he can fire with anything you with you. And that
Right.
helps me actually. If
Right.
database they are asking like what is the asset property, you have to tell them.
Right.
Like so everything basic was obviously cleared out. Then after that Walmart comes, and in Walmart when trees come, like trees or dynamic programming, my one interview was just one dynamic programming question. And trust me, when I got the question, I had already done dynamic programming. Obviously you see something new, you is like how I will solve. I had also same reaction, but after 45 minutes I was able to solve. And that was my last interview, technical interview in my Walmart. Somehow my offer letter was dependent on that round actually, dynamic programming question, but I was able to solve it, and that was the thing. So basically, whole 4 to 6 months helped me a lot in that data structure, design, but everything they helped me, and that's how I was able to crack Myntra and Walmart.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Would we also want to discuss a bit about the low-level design and the high-level design classes that we have had?
Okay.
Did that have an impact on not only on interviews, but do you now feel as a much more confident software engineer? Well, do you feel yourself to be much more confident that no matter what problem comes in front of you at the company that you work, you would be able to logically take on that problem, logically figure out a way to solve that problem?
Okay, so what happened? Like in you asked me just my story about the low level design. So long back, I know what is singleton. Okay, I was doing something, but I don't know why to use it. Okay,
Right.
when I don't know what is a design pattern. Okay, trust me, you will not believe, but I don't know. Okay, there were 12 design pattern. I got to know maybe 6 months back only that there is something Java design pattern. Some patterns are present, and with that helped me a lot actually, because when you know something, okay, you are know that when you are going for an interview and you know everything, like what is low level, and somebody is trying it, you know what is singleton, why to use it, so you can give the explanation. That's how it helped me a lot. And plus now I am doing a project, and it is very easy to understand what is the flow of the project if you can identify how they are designing it the project. And
Right.
basically if you will take 7 days to understand something, if you know the structure, what is low level design, what is high level design, it will take half of the time. So that
Makes sense.
basically help in a current project also.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And that gives you a lot of confidence, right? And that actually
Yeah.
shows in your job as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Good. So we gave interviews. You gave interviews at Myntra. You interviewed at Walmart. You got offers from both of them. So how did you decide on which company to join? That is a very good problem to have, I would say. Having offers from Myntra and Walmart, and then having to decide which one to join.
Okay. So basically, if you ask me, I am very much concerned about the brand value. Okay. When you have to something, so I was like, okay, brand matters for me.
Right.
Okay. The second thing, and there is something team and culture of the company matters a lot. And like how it means to be some in particular company, and that matters with you. And I had friends working in the Walmart. I had like lot of discussion with lot of people, like what is good and what was the criteria. Main also brand value, and obviously I believe money also matters.
Right.
Okay, so that was also one criteria for me, and what profile everything is going to be, because you know what team you are getting in and that you want to do or how it is going to be for you.
Right. That
And
is the work, the kind of work that you can expect going on
yeah,
after
and
being at that particular company, right?
yeah, and for me culture matters. What is the culture of the company also? I can't say company but specific team. Maybe I don't can't be judged from the outside, but still if I have some idea, that matters a lot. If you have a positive environment, you can work betterly, and that
Right.
matters. And all these factors help me to decide where to go.
Right. Right. Cool. That makes sense. So we have a very relevant question in the comment section right now. So Kaustav asks that he would want to understand the complete process at Walmart and Myntra. So let's maybe, if you are fine with if you're fine with this, Mohini, maybe we can take these companies one by one and discuss the interview process from a broad level at Myntra and Walmart.
Okay, so Walmart is very clear that 1 day process.
One.
I
Okay. How
one day
many
process.
interviews?
Sorry.
How many rounds of interviews, Mohini?
So I had 5 rounds of interview. Out of them, 3 were data structure and dynamic programming, everything, and one was and little bit like Java also was there, and some design problem also, and one was hiring manager plus technical also. And after 4 rounds, there was one HR round that day itself. And after that, they called me after 2 days that you are selected. Send me your documents. And after that, we discussed about the salary part, and I was happy with whatever they were offering, and that's how it
These
goes.
are the most important parts, Mohini, right? Getting the offer
Yeah.
and discussing the salary. The most interesting part of the process.
Yeah, so whatever they offered me, actually it was good. I didn't ask anything else, and I was happy.
Right.
Whatever the profile I was getting and whatever the compensation I was getting, and I didn't have any negotiation as such. I didn't have single negotiation also, but I was happy whatever I was getting it.
Okay, so
And
let's maybe summarize it for everybody. So you had questions on DS algo for the first 3 rounds. So in
yeah,
Walmart you had 5 rounds overall. For the first 3 rounds you had questions from DS algo. Can you
yeah.
mention a few concepts that you were tested on? So I know that you were asked questions from dynamic programming. What else,
Yeah.
Mohini? Those 3 rounds.
So they asked me trees question also.
They ask you questions on trees. Okay.
Trees question also they asked me, and some of the question was trees also. Basically, like I remember the exactly one question, but yeah, there were related to the question trees, dynamic
Okay.
programming, and like Java also they asked me.
Okay.
Basically,
Okay.
current project, and they asked me design phone search diary, and they gave me the
So they
explanation.
asked you a design question, designing the phone search diary. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And they basically towards the discussion, they changed the question. If I was replying something like what kind of thing you can use it. So it was a design question was also there. And yeah, mainly these were the thing which I remember till now, the basic like one. Yeah.
Right. So, Mohini, would you say that the discussions that we used to had in the high level design classes or in the low level design classes, do you think those help you prepare better for the interview and give that interview, the design interview in a better way?
Actually, if you ask me, if you read something, a blog, and you do it, maybe you can get the knowledge, but you can't be interactive, like
Makes
how to
sense.
approach, like what
Right.
should we ask, how we should approach a question. So that help, like Scalar class helped me a lot, like how we can approach, how what should we ask to the interviewer,
Makes
like
sense.
what should be the requirement for a question,
Makes sense.
and that helps me a lot. Basically, the process, how you should solve a system design question, that helps because of the Scalar only.
Makes sense. And if you just happen to read a blog or you read something written which is not an interactive in the interactive format, you do learn some things, but maybe the holistic learning is not there, right? You do not learn things exhaustively. But when we are discussing something with somebody, you tend to learn everything. You try to understand every possible doubt that you have. You're free to ask questions. And I think that really helps in building the confidence and also learning things exhaustively, right?
Yeah. So basically, what happened when you read a blog, you read in one mindset. Like whatever
Right,
is there, you read that one, and that is the answer of the question. But
right.
systematize is not about something right or wrong. There can be
Makes
a lot of possibilities, and that help like using class only. Like what can be the possibilities? That is the pattern. Like what we can do. Lot of the things. And if you have any doubt, you can ask it. That helps you a lot, like in thinking purpose also. And basically, you are thinking broaden, like how you can think in all the direction. So that helps.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. So we discussed about the process at Walmart. Let's maybe talk a bit about the process at Myntra as well. So, how many rounds of interviews at Myntra, Mohini?
Okay, so Myntra, I had like online coding interview, coding question. Sorry, one there was two coding question, and then after that I had two technical round on site, and
Okay.
after that they said like we will call you, and you have cleared both the round, but we will call you the further rounds. Then I had one hiring manager and techno manager round, and
Mhm.
then I had HR round, and after that everything was good, and then after that. They asked me again the salary part. I don't know. I don't say anything, so I didn't say same thing. They offered me, and I was like, okay.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, and at Myntra, do you remember the exact some data structures or algorithms that you were asked in the Myntra interviews?
Okay,
What is important? So, yeah.
so they
I
asked me only stack or queues question very specifically. I remember from that time stack and queue, and so basically even some tricky one array questions were also there. That
okay.
was there, and the one or two trees question was there because I had two proper technical data structure interview, and that was present there. So
Makes
trees,
sense.
stack, and queue, mainly these things were
Makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. So we have a question from Dheeraj. He asked, "Is there any question which you did not know in the interview that you have not done before, and how do you go about handling a question that you have not seen before?" So basically, his idea, the thing that he's trying to ask is that how do you handle a question if you have not seen that question before? So do you think understanding the concepts very fundamentally really helps in those kind of scenarios? Of course, you cannot see all the questions beforehand, but if you
there.
know the concepts very well, you will be able to approach that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens like if you have not seen any question, the first thing you clear that question. What is all about the question? Like from the interviewer itself, because a lot of time we don't ask any answer question to the interviewer, and you assume things, and in the end nothing works out. So first of all clear the question, and then start with very brute force kind of techniques which we learn as part of our course, like technique, like how we should solve, like brute force we have to solve. And if you can find any brute force, you have to think like that has basically what happened, right? You learn some technique, you learn some pattern while being in the course, and you can use them. And maybe that question belong to some category maybe you have not seen, but that question belong, for example, trees question. So trees question, can you there are can question that you have not seen in the trees, but you know the pattern, how to use recursion, how to use some stack to like some traversal, so some queue kind of thing. You can identify all these things, like what we can use best to optimize. That's how you can approach any question.
Makes sense. Makes sense, Mohini. Okay, so we have a question from Kushal. He asks, "Hi Mohini, before joining the Scaler, were you strong or familiar with DS Algo or maths?" So I hope everybody is slightly familiar with maths. So, but apart from math, how familiar were you from with DS Algo and these concepts that you were taught at Scaler Academy?
Okay. So familiarity is like I know the things, but it is not always. If you know the array, so you can't say you know graph.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
And if you have to crack Google, you can't go without graph.
Makes sense. Makes
Okay.
sense. Makes sense.
Right. So these things can't be very justify what you know. Maybe in graph some technique you know, but not all. But you can't go to the interview like without on with one technique only. So I know that I have the familiarity, but I will not say that everything I know. Still,
Makes
there is a lot of scope of improvement. but still I know the things. I can make my mind that I can crack some interview, any company interview. I can crack. I can make my mindset. I can prepare for that. So that is the thing. So I had the familiarity, but lot of loopholes was filled because of the scalar course.
Makes sense. So I will ask you a follow-up question, Mohini, and I will be very interested in knowing what you feel about that. Do you feel it's also sometimes important to unlearn a few things? So you know some things, but maybe it's better that you unlearn them right now and learn them in the fresh, in a fresh format. So maybe understand it from the very basics again, because maybe some of us might have some wrong conceptions that we have had about that topic over a period of time, and it's very important before you start learning that you unlearn those things. Would you agree with that? Do you think that's
Yes,
important?
yes, I will agree with that. Like, for example, if you know something, and what happened, like, if you know something and you go with some mindset and you know got to know something else. So I can tell you a very small story. So binary search, I already had an impression that only sorted array we can use it. Okay, that
Right.
impression I had. But when I
Right.
joined the course and then I saw some other pattern that there is something you can apply over the range also, something else also is present. So you
Exactly.
can't, like, if you know something that actually you know it. And in case of LLD, I don't know anything, but it is good I don't know anything, otherwise I would have
Makes
created a mess also. Maybe I
makes
would
sense.
have something, singleton is something and I know something else. So it is
Makes
fine if you don't know something also.
Right. So your binary search example is actually very relevant. One thing that I ensure before I start taking any class on a DP. So let's say I'm teaching a batch for the first time dynamic programming. In the very first class, I make it a point to tell them that if you have some very strong opinions about this concept, maybe it's a time to feel a bit, it's time to let off those things for a while and try to appreciate things from the from the very basics. Because the point is, if you have already learned a few things and maybe that was not the best way of learning it, it's very important that you de-learn first and then you start learning it, right?
Yeah, correct.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at a few more questions that we have. Aman says, "Can you please elaborate a bit on the technical round?" So let's say the technical rounds that you had in Walmart or in Myntra. Can you elaborate a bit more of what all were discussed? So let's say you would have been asked about your projects. I'm guessing, right? They would have asked you about your projects. What else was asked?
So like it is very generic, like what is discussion? It is like either like how technical interview you and ask and a DS question, how you approach them, and what all discussion. So maybe something very specific or very generic. Somebody is asking like.
Okay. No, no, so no. Okay. So I'm trying. What people would be interested in knowing is what all discussions, let's say, related to your project, or let's say, did they actually try to figure out how is your knowledge about a particular language? Did they try to figure out, let's say, do you know the computer science fundamentals? Do you know about computer networks? Do you know about OS? And what exactly did they try to judge in your technical rounds, apart from DS algo, let's say?
Okay, so basically, how you think, how you approach something, like how
Okay.
you can think very differently. Okay, if they ask you some system design question, how you can think. It is not like anything correct or right, but all what direction you can think about it. They look for that thing which I felt and which I was trying to convey that message also. And how you are you well, like know the things, how you can solve any problem, kind of thing. I guess basically is we consider in the technical round. And yeah, whatever you are working, do you know about that thing also? Like
Okay.
that helps.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. So they would have discussed about your current project as well at a greater detail, right? So they would have tried to understand what were you doing in the last company.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I am doing that was like explanation can go very deep also. Like what you are doing. So
Makes
you
sense.
should be able to explain. Like if there is something is coming, like you are saying, you know, no SQL. You should know what is no SQL. So that kind
Right.
of things can come, and that is basically a criteria to judge you also.
Makes sense. So now let's take one more question right now. So we have a question from Deepika. Deepika says, "Can you talk a bit about your Google interview experience?"
Okay. So in Google, I had like I can just tell you very like basic like what all thing I had. So I had an online first like technical round over Hangout, and that I was able to clear it. There was one coding question, and there was some very specific, a very generic question they asked me, what is the current you are doing, everything, and that I was able to clear it. After that, I had 5 on-site rounds in a single day, and their process is they are very time bound kind of thing, and you have exactly 45 minutes for a one question. You will be given one coding question, which I have experienced, and
Mhm.
you have to approach in some minutes, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then you have to code it, maybe another 20 minutes. And it's up to you. Like, obviously, you should approach it like a brute force and optimize one. And that's I was doing. But if you ask me that there was one coding question, obviously it was related to either dynamic programming, either graph or some array question, very tricky one. Or there was one binary search or question also was present in one of the round. And so there were 4 questions. So some of them I
Okay.
was able to approach, and some of them I was not. And
Okay.
but very specific question, and each of the round have only one coding question. And
Okay.
after that, there was one behavioral round. There they will ask you approximately 30 questions, behavioral kind of thing. That was the
Okay.
process for me.
Okay. Can you detail a bit about those behavioral questions? Maybe that is something a bit new for the audience here.
Okay, so basically, do you have any disagreement with your manager in
Hmm.
like
Have you ever
till
had
now?
any agreement with your manager? Makes sense, right?
Yeah, do you have any disagreement with your peers? Are you
Hmm.
able to support them? Like,
Hmm.
how you can help with them? And basically, people are aware of the Amazon leadership principle, right? Kind of question. They are 12 and there are like 25 or 30. They fire you with lot of questions. Okay. And that proper round is about behavioral check. There were questions like this only. What you have done, why you want to switch, kind of question, and what you are looking for it. What is your dream, like in long run? So kind of questions they ask me in behavioral.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. So after taking these few questions, Mohini, one thing that I find very interesting about you and your story is the the life experiences that you have had. So the journey that you have had, and I really respect you for that. So can we discuss a bit about the journey? Let's say from your school days, then to your college and the companies that you joined, and when you reflect back on the entire journey from where you are today, what feelings you have about that journey. So can we discuss a bit about your journey, Mohini?
Okay, so basically, I believe for me, my journey is very motivated. Okay, so if I say somebody say like who is inspiring you for your career is my story itself. Okay, so I'm very great strength from the my childhood. I never see second position from first class to 12th class. Okay,
Okay.
and I was a topper in the Haryana in top 10 in my 12th class. I had 97 percentile,
Okay.
and okay, then, but one thing, I was from the Hindi medium. Okay, somewhere in my future, that was a little obstacle for me when I went to my college, and
Makes
then
sense.
I moved there. So one of my friends said, I never prepared for IIT or NIT because that time maybe nowhere, somewhere, somebody was not to guide me also, and I didn't drop or anything. Whatever opportunity I have seen, and I went for it, and that is the funda for me right now also. If I see some opportunity, I grab it, and uh, I went to the Vanastali, and what happened, like there also, because I never seen. So there is a saying: if you see that you are the smartest person in the room, you should leave the room. So maybe the thing was happening in my school. I have never seen little bit competition I've seen in my 12th class, but before that I have not seen. So, but
Okay.
when I reached to my college, I've seen people from all over the world, and that's how I realized like there is a room to improvement. There is a big room to improvement actually, and because I belong to the Hindi medium, then obviously communication comes into the play, and I never face any public. Okay, and right now this is my first time I am like speaking in front of a lot of people right now also. So that fear went away. So one in my journey while being in the my college, so in third year I gave one interview for Ericsson internship.
Okay.
So one of my friends suggested me that मोनी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, तू हिंदी में इंटरव्यू दे दे, अगर तुझे लगता है कि तू इंग्लिश में अच्छे से कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाई, दे दे हिंदी में इंटरव्यू. So somehow I took that advice and I gave my interview in Hindi, and I cleared it.
Okay.
I got internship in Ericsson. So next time I realized doesn't matter what is your language, matters how you are conveying your message. Are you able to justify? Are you able to convey what you know? Your knowledge you can share. That
Makes sense.
matters.
Makes sense.
And after that, I went for my Oracle interview also,
Okay.
and that was the highest package from my college that year, and I got that one, and that was like a biggest achievement of my life till that time. And uh, and then I moved to Bangalore. Okay, so Haryana to Rajasthan to Bangalore, okay, itself is a lot of change in things. And when I joined Oracle, I see a very different environment, a very different everything. Okay, and you are like just college graduate, you are just enjoying everything, and after like everything was fine. And when you see a lot of people are doing something, okay, they are coming from different background, they are doing something, then you get the motivation again. And that's how after some year later I realized that I should also do. And when I think, and then I met with the Scaler and I joined this. That was basic thing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, indeed a very inspiring story, Mohini. And you have actually beaten quite a few odds and reached the position that you are currently at. And many, many congratulations on achieving that, Mohini. And I am pretty sure that you are. This is not something. This is not where you are going to stop. I am pretty sure that you are going to keep on improving, and you have a wonderful career ahead of you. I can totally see that. Very, very
Yeah,
congratulations for that, Mohini,
thank you.
and all the very best for the career. Let's maybe take a few more questions from the audience here. So Yash Patel asks that do they ask any framework related questions like Spring for Java background, or they were just asking questions for core Java along with the DSA? This is for Walmart, let's say.
Okay, so basically it depends. See, if you ask me Java background, like how you can convey it, it is not very specific that you should know something very language specific. And basically, you how quickly you can grab it. If you say
Makes
Java,
sense. Makes
and
sense.
I have some knowledge, but for me, if you ask me, if somebody asks me, can you work in the Python? If they are agree for me to work, then I am also okay. I can learn and I can work. But I will
Makes
say
sense.
I don't know. But it
Makes
doesn't
sense.
make any negative effect. You can learn and you can do, that is matters. And I don't have a Spring background, but I am working on the Spring right now. So it
Makes
didn't
sense.
affect my offer being I was not from the Spring background.
Right. So I will just add a couple of bits from my end here. So small bits here. So what have seen over the years is companies which are big companies, big branded companies, they would rather want to hire people who are having very good grasping power, people who can learn things very quickly and have very strong fundamental knowledge. Those kind of companies prefer people who have very strong fundamental knowledge and can learn very quickly. But let's say on the other hand, if you talk about startups or talk about smaller companies, there they would most likely be testing you on very very specific skills that are relevant to their business and their tech stack. And there, that is the difference between let's say interviewing at a big brand versus interviewing at a startup. I'm not preferring any one of them over the other. I'm just telling that yes, in big companies they basically judge about your fundamental knowledge and how quickly you can learn. In startups, they would talk a bit about the exact skill set that you have. Do you agree with that, Mohini?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, cool. Yes, so let's see if we have some more questions here. Okay, so Ayush has a question. Is doing only the scalars question, the questions that are given to you as assignments or homeworks in Scalar Academy, are they enough along with the live lectures, or do you actually refer to any other source beyond these things?
Actually, first of all, they are enough. And second thing, I mentioned in the initially only, okay, if you skip one question also, you can't complete it like later on, because you will bombard with lot of question and you have to do it. And there is no other sources required if you solve all these questions also. So it is enough. Like in terms of like content, in terms of lecture, everything is enough. That is itself is a whole, like you can say
Package.
whole package is there, so not
Right.
require anything from the outside.
Right. So, Mohini, maybe let's take a follow-up question right now and talk about bit about the Scalar Academy and the different formats we have to support the growth of our students. Right. So we have live lectures. So let's talk about live lectures. How important do you feel it's to have not a recorded video but a live lecture? Can you talk a bit about your experience with the lectures at Scalar Academy?
Okay, so first of all, if you are seeing something live, first of all, you can ask a question if you have any
Right.
doubt. First of all,
Right.
and it is good to interact with somebody on the over the live rather than later seeing it. Okay, and so it is first thing you can interact. You have a question, you can, and basically, if interviewer like if not interviewer, if an instructor is teaching you something, he is asking you something. Like think in all the direction. You think that time only. In later on video, you can't see, so that matters. Live lectures matters, and they help you a lot. You can clear all your doubts that time only, and how we are going to proceed for the next time. That also you can discuss everything.
Makes sense.
And yeah.
Yeah, so other than live lectures, the second component is the assignments and the homeworks that we give after every live lecture. So do you feel that they added a lot of value? Did they give you enough practice resources and maybe time to now evaluate yourself that what you have actually learned in the live lecture? So can we talk a bit
Okay.
about the assignments and homeworks?
So yeah, when you see assignment and homework, so you will get whenever you have a live lecture, you will get assignment. Then later on, you will get homework also. So I will just say a small example. If you are working on the dynamic programming, if you will solve 10 problems maybe in a 1 day or 2 day. So think if you have 10 dynamic programming, you are solving 100 questions. After solving 100 dynamic programming question, you will not see anywhere that you can't solve any questions. Right?
Right,
That is
right.
basically helps a lot when you do homework and the assignment. And so basically all these factors like doing homework plus you will be dedicated, like every day you are working on something, so you will be in habitual of doing coding, and that helps you. And in line when you see like there are 400 or 500 questions you have seen being in the course itself, is gives you a confidence that you can crack the interview.
Makes sense. So for the assignments and homeworks, we have the TA sessions as well to
Yeah.
assist you at places where you are stuck or let's say asking doubts to your TAs. And of course, we instructors are always reachable. You always do reach out to us and have discussions. But let's talk about bit about the TA support system that we have. So did you find that useful that you can ask questions to your TAs and they will reply back to your specific concerns?
So yeah, so basically, in TA session also you can clear all your doubts, and if you have something, and even that if not in the TA session, you always can raise a request, okay?
Right.
And what is your doubt, and you can clear it. So there
Right.
is no way that you will stuck and nobody is there. You
Right.
are always somebody is present for you to help you in at every point. So TA session helps you a lot when dealing with the data structure question also. If you are stuck, some exception is coming, everything is there, you can help reach out to them and they will help you out a lot.
Makes sense. So the last part of it is the mentor engagement. So having a mentor who is working at a good company right now and talking with him or her about your career and your progress. How important do you feel is the interactions with having those interactions with mentors? How important is that?
Okay, so if you ask in my journey, mentor is very much needed because you need some guidance, like how you should go. So my mentor used to give me advice. मोहिनी, अगर तुझे लगता है कि इंटरव्यू देने से तू मोटिवेट होगी, मत देना. लेकिन if you can learn something from the interview, then go ahead and give it. Okay,
Makes sense.
so actually to work out, and you can't thinking, and he's always like, what is good, and they get to be a mock also, so you can identify in which topic you are good or not. They can give you a good feedback, and you have to discuss anything regarding questions regarding anything like behavioral type, everything. They are there to help you out, and it is much needed, and it help you a lot in everywhere.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. Let's move on to the next question that we have. So we have a question from Mai. How to make sure that we remember all the concepts, especially the DS algo ones, when we are attending an interview? Do you frequently revisit all the topics that you covered?
Okay, so basically, if you say about your brain also, we can remember like lot of things. It is I can't give you a very exact answer, but our brain use only 3%, not 3% also. We use little bit of our brain, and all of topic will be remember you always. Like if you know the technique, if you are not remembering the coding, then obviously you can't remember. But if you are remembering the technique, you can use in that question also and other questions also. It's basically a technique, not the questions. So questions maybe when you will identify the technique, you will able to write it. It's all about technique, and you have no need to remember all the topics, but all the technique how you are solving approaching a question.
Right, makes sense. So I would just add on to what you just said. If you just try to understand the concepts behind the questions, if you understand the concepts clearly, the concept stays with you. If you are just trying to figure out a shortcut out of it, maybe you will be forgetting those things after a while. But if you understand the concepts at a fundamental level, those understandings actually remain with you for a lot longer. And of course, yes, constantly revisiting the topics always help, that you can always go back and maybe solve a few questions from the topics that you discussed a month ago or learned a couple of months ago. But yes, if you understand things at a fundamental level, those things tend to stay back with you for a lot longer. Right. Cool. So we have a question about your percentage of questions solved at Scaler. So Mohini, how many questions did you solve?
Okay,
What?
so I guess exact numbers I don't remember, but I guess out of 500, 400 I have solved. Or yeah,
That's
I
a
have
great number.
solved 400 question almost, or maybe it can be less or more, but approximately 400.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So you have solved 400 questions, and that definitely is more than enough to be the confident Mohini that we are seeing today. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So let's maybe discuss now a bit about what do you feel helped you the most? If you can pinpoint, let's say, two things about the academy or about your experience in the last 6 months, can you figure out? Can you point out what were the few things that really mattered the most? So few things that you would say that are very good at Scalar Academy, or you really enjoyed a few things about Scalar Academy.
Okay, so first of all, the instructor and like how they teach, the pattern of the teaching. Like if you can't get bored in the 2.5 hour of session, that is the good session actually. So
Right.
that is very interactive. So session are very good, and the pattern, the basically the syllabus which they are covering, that is also good. Like I don't know, didn't know about lot of things initially, but I know now the things. So that helps me a lot. The syllabus pattern and the kind of support like somebody is present in terms of if you have to discuss now how to talk to the HR also, how to do this thing with HR. For this also your SPOS is present for everything. And if you have some doubt in data structure, design, operating system, instructor are present. If you have stuck points of somewhere and your TA are present, your assignment are there for you. Everything is good. Like the whole package itself is helping you a lot. So this platform is helpful in every way what you need to crack any interview.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. So we have a very common theme amongst the questions that I'm seeing right now. So that is about how did you manage your time? So you were working full time at your organization, and simultaneously you joined Scalar Academy. So how much time did you invest here, and how did you manage the two things simultaneously?
Okay, so I will tell you very much about my story. I work in Bangalore and I was staying 13 kilometers away from my company also. So I was investing 2 hours over traveling also. So if you
Okay.
ask me, I gave 3 hours, not three, actually 4 hours. So if you have a lecture the day, you are giving 2 hours to 2.5 hour your lecture, then I was giving after the lecture 1 hour for my question solving also that day itself. The next day, basically, if you say like I can say your time management, you can analyze, you can see what is your timing for your office and what do you do after coming to the office. If you will see what you do after the office, you can analyze where you should not invest your time, like in so then you can find out like 3 to 4 hours for your particularly for this preparation, and that is very easy, just a time management to analyze your whole 24 hours where you are investing.
Makes sense. So you invested 3 to 4 hours every day on Scalar Academy and its curriculum.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's great. Now we have a question. How important you feel, Mohini, is competitive programming for cracking interviews at these big tech companies? So did you, or do you feel it's important? Do you feel it's not important? It's the concepts that are primarily important. What's your opinion on this?
Okay, so competitive programming, I do very less. So for me, when I went for the interview, it like I didn't find it like I am not saying the computer programming is not good, but it is obviously it is better. You like improve your problem solving. But in terms of interview, I never faced any issue that I didn't solve any competitive programming. That's why I was not able to crack it.
Makes sense.
So
So It's not a necessity. This is what you're saying. It's not
Not
a necessity.
necessary.
If you are doing it, that's great. But even if you're not doing it, you still have ways to be very good at problem solving, and that is what companies actually judge for. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Cool. Okay. Okay. So Mohini, I would now want you to give some advice to, let's say, the budding programmers out there. So people who aspire to be at the position where you are today. What advice you would give them? So let's say, what advice would you give to somebody who is a college student right now, is in their college? What advice would you give to them? What is the most important thing that they should take care about?
Okay, so basically, like whenever somebody is seeking for this interview thing or anything in a good company, I feel like you should be very positive first of all. In every way, whatever you are doing, you should be very positive. You should be dedicated. If you are following something, follow it very dedication. Like it is not like you are following for 7 days and you leave it for 7 days. It should be very dedicated. And if it is good, if you find some structure, if you can follow some structure, some pattern you can follow, that helps you a lot. And that is the main thing. And do lot of practice, how much you can do it, do a lot of time management, how you can invest your time over the all your problems, and that helps you a lot.
Makes sense. So your mantra seems to be positive and be patient and keep on doing the hard work for a long amount of time, for a long period of time, and you will bear the fruits of success. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So, any advice, Mohini, that you would give to your fellows or peers who are working at some companies right now, or they seem that their career has sort of plateaued? This is one thing that I have seen a lot happening to people around me. That it seems as if the career has plateaued, and now it's very difficult to make that jump or take that next logical step. Any advice that you would want to give to them? They are not very happy at their present organizations, want to take a jump, want to switch. What advice would you want to give to them? uh,
So basically, what you want to do, you only can decide. Like you have to identify. You can do a lot of research and you can take the advice, but in the end, you have to identify what you want to do, where you want to go. Once you finalize it, then just figure out how you can achieve it. That is the basically a like agenda. Like first identify what you want, then how you can achieve it, and walk over it, and you will get it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. Any advice to the fellow female programmers that you see? Any advice that you would want to give to them? That yes, it is slightly, it is a tough world, unfortunately, but it's something that you can very well achieve, and it's really important for the tech companies to have a lot more female participation, because that is when you will be able to build products that actually reach out to everyone and is built for everyone. Any advice or any motivation building thing that you would want to say to your fellow female programmers?
Okay, so first of all, don't compromise at any point of your time. Don't think that you can't do it. You can do
Yes.
everything. If you see a lot of example in the India and over the world, there are a lot
Right.
of girls at a higher position. So
Makes
don't
sense.
see that you can't do it. If you can say that I can do it, that means you can do it. So and don't compare with the other. Basically, it's like for girls, even something like okay, this boys can do, I can't do it. It is not like that. You can also do it. If you will think, then you will be demotivated. Don't think it and just do it.
And in fact, you can do things a lot better. It does not really matter where you come from, what you are. Everyone brings something new to the table, which is very important for the
Yeah,
company.
so yeah, obviously. So don't compare with you with other people. Just do it yourself, like what you can achieve, and the way you will think, and you will be able to get it.
Okay, makes sense. Let's maybe take a couple of more questions and then we can end the session, Mohini. So there is one question from Sri Watson. He asks, is your current organization, current work have any impact on the interview? So he's asking you where you are currently working and what work that you're doing. Does that impact the questions that you're asked in the interviews? Uh,
So, like, I will say I can't be very like sure about this thing, but your current company, how it impact, maybe in resume selection, maybe I'm not sure because my current company, I will not say, but basically your knowledge matters. What you know, what you are doing, and basically I started my career from the Oracle. Then I moved to Coros, that is a company which came into the India like 3 years back. So I didn't see any impact of my current company, because being in that company, I got call from Google, Microsoft, Walmart, Myntra. So I didn't see any impact of my current organization. And about work-wise, how you convey to interviewer, like what you are doing. It is up to you how you want to say it. So that matters.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense, Mohini. Yeah. So yes, Mohini, thanks a lot for taking out time for us and having this interaction. And let me reiterate, I'm pretty sure that you have a very wonderful career awaiting ahead of you. You have achieved a lot. Congratulations on it, and all the very best for your career ahead. And I hope that we remain in touch and we can actually come back and keep on contributing back to the community as and when time permits. Right.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. To me, it
Thank,
is very great to be part of the Skiller actually. Yeah, thank you so much.
thanks a lot, Mohini. Thanks a lot. Yeah, and thanks a lot, everybody. If you have any questions or any doubts about the Scalar Academy or any other doubts, you can always reach out to us, and we will be able to answer your queries then. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot, Mohini. Goodbye.
Thank you.